Fellas, Hausa becomes officially the national language in Niger, reducing French to just a working language. That is fire. And then we're going to go to Sudan, where the Sudanese are pushing back and forth with the United States of America. The US have accused Sudan of not taking back their national. Sudan says he's not Sudanese. From which country is this African man? Zimbabwe is negotiating with the United States of America. They say American goods can come into Zimbabwe with zero tax. As opposed to what America is doing to Africa right now, Zimbabwe seems to be begging the United States of America. Is this bravery or treason? Let's find out about that. What's up, everybody? Hope you're doing good. It's a beautiful day. Thank you very much for stopping by. Appreciate it. Okay, we are in Niger. Here's a map. Beautiful place, lovely people. Niger has made it clear Hausa has become the national language in Niger. Congratulations. No more French the way it used to be. It is over. They're obviously trying to regain their independence in all senses of it. French becomes a mere working language as Hausa becomes the language of the country. So my question is, I don't understand how people think they can develop their countries using other people's language. You name me one country in the world that developed itself using other people's language. It doesn't exist. China developed China with Chinese, Mandarin and stuff. Oh, by the way, China was a poor country just after World War II. Yes, they went through the most as well. They suffered. They were taken over by Japan. They were beaten bad, really bad. But Chinese worked very hard to develop themselves. They created technology, engineers, and everything you can think about. China, in matter of fact, don't need anybody to do anything for them right now. Why? Because they use Chinese. Do you think they've achieved that using French or English? No, they've used Chinese. But you see African people, slamming each other and mocking one another because you don't speak English. Now, your English is not good. Why are you saying excited? You don't say excited. It's excited. It's crazy. It's crazy what you see out here. You don't say excited. You must say excited. It's absolutely insane. And they will stop listening to you just because you said excited instead of excited. Your accent is very heavy. But can you hear what I say? Oh, yeah, I heard you. So what? That's not my language. Can you speak your mama's language? Tell me, how do you say excited in your mother's language? No, tell me, what's excited in your mother's language? You have no idea. That's the people we're dealing with. And they think they can grow their companies, grow their countries using other people's language. Slavery mentality. The Chinese regain everything that was Chinese. The Chinese use Chinese culture, Chinese religion, Chinese languages, Chinese identity to build China. African people think everything that's Western is better. Many don't even remember their customs anymore. Yes, many African countries, African people don't know their traditions anymore. Or in some cases, when you see Africans using some sort of tradition, they copy the tradition of the neighboring tribe who still remembers their tradition. It's very sad, and I'm not going to stop saying this. Let me put it this way for you. We are countries. We became countries through colonialism. Before we became countries, we were ethnics and groups and tribes and clans, right? Each clan, each tribe has its own culture and tradition. Each clan and tribe has its own attires, clothing style. Now, today you'll see many African countries where people don't remember their attires. When you have a wedding, you should be wearing your traditional clothes from your tribe. Many African people don't have traditional clothes from their tribes anymore because they have traded the tradition for technology. So Chad is not one of those countries. They're taking back the language. So there is what you call official language and national language. The difference is what? The official language is used for government, legal, and formal purposes. And the national language is primarily associated with the culture, symbolic identity, and is not necessarily used for formal government function. Now, Hausa is good because Hausa is one of the most spoken languages in Africa, besides Swahili. Over 70 million across countries speak Swahili in Africa. Tanzania, Uganda, Kenya, Congo, Burundi, some part of Mozambique, and more. So Swahili should be one of those languages that everybody can speak. Hausa is one of the languages too. It is spoken in Niger, it is spoken in Nigeria, it is spoken in Ghana. I see South African cringing. Nigeria, I don't want. I see you. It's spoken in Burkina Faso and many other countries. So it's just normal. Matter of fact, people of Hausa descent are found in Niger and in Nigeria and in Burkina Faso. So That again tells you before the countries existed, we existed in many places. Now, why did French become the national language? Because France colonized Niger for many, many years. They beat them up, they threw them on the ground, they made them eat some stinky cheese for a long time. Then when they ate enough stinky cheese, they told them, we think you have brains now to run yourself. However, we're going to keep French as a national language. Why? Because we believe that you can use French to communicate with other people. After independence, French was retained as the official language of Niger for governmental purpose, legal matter, and public education. The decision to retain French was primarily to maintain national unity and facilitate communication in a multilingual country where over 20 languages are spoken. So they're saying we kept French so we can maintain you together, so you can speak to one another, so you can communicate. Like, before you guys came, did we exist? We were many tribes, right? How did we communicate? How did we communicate? How do we need your French to come so we can talk to each other? Do Zulu people and Xhosa people need to speak English to understand one another? Do Tswana people and Pedi need to speak English to understand each other? Do Swahili people need English to talk to one another? That's the crazy part. You know, so we're giving you French so you can talk to each other. Just keep it as a national language. That's over now. Niger is not about to play that life anymore. They are done with French. Congratulations on what? We are not applauding the fact that they're rejecting France. We are applauding the fact that they're regaining their sovereignty. Become a coffee. And now we're going to South Sudan. South Sudan is right here, fellas. Youngest country in the world, 2011. They went through the most. Well, South Sudan has criticized the revoking of US visa. So basically, simple English, what's happened is the United States of America just declared that all South Sudan passport holders who have visas, they're going to see their visas cancelled. Yes, so if you have a South Sudan passport, your visa will be cancelled. Why? Because South Sudan refused to accept one person that was expelled from the United States of America back to South Sudan. So in fact, this person was sent back to America. I'm sure he was praying like, oh my God, thank you, Lord. And you know what they found out? The guy is Congolese. You know, so South Sudan just issued a statement saying, sorry, you are attacking us for nothing. The guy you sent back here is not South Sudanese. He is Congolese. What happened was they took the guy by force. They put him on a plane, sent him to South Sudan. When he got to South Sudan sent him back to America.
Government deeply regrets that despite this history of collaboration and partnership, South Sudan now faces a broad revocation of visas based on an isolated incident involving misrepresentation by an individual who is not a South Sudanese national. Comprehensive verification processes confirm that this individual is a national of the Democratic Republic of Congo named Makula Kintu. In accordance with our immigration protocols, he was not admitted and was subsequently returned to the sending country for further processing.
So that's what I'm saying. In the plane, he was like, oh my God, you know, speaking language. I'm sure he prayed in language, thanking God for sending me back to America. Is he going to be sent to the Congo? Question mark. So now they're trying to clarify. Just think about it. If you as a South Sudanese, you just have to find your passport visa canceled because the Congolese guy was not accepted in your country. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced the visa ban on Saturday, citing South Sudan's refusal to accept the return of its citizen being removed from the United States of America. So to them, it sounded like challenge, like we're not going to take him. You know, the same way Colombia did. And they were ready to unleash on South Sudan. And he continued saying, we will be prepared to review these actions when South Sudan is in full cooperation. But in a statement on Monday, South Sudan Foreign Ministry said it deeply regrets the blanket measure against all the country's citizens based on an isolated incident involving a misrepresentation by an individual who is not South Sudanese national. So the Congolese man found himself in South Sudan. Well, some Congolese people are dark skin color like South Sudanese. I'm sure this one was very happy and his family probably fasted and prayed and they gave money to a pastor, like 10% of the money they make every month to thank the pastor for the prayers because the guy was not expelled back to the Congo. And people hate their countries. This is crazy. It's amazing. Anyway, now we're going to Zimbabwe. So in Zimbabwe, fellas, something crazy is happening. The Zimbabwean government is opening up its market to the United States of America. Crazy stuff. At what time? When America is telling you to go yourself, You are opening the market to America, saying, America, you can come to my country tax-free. America has imposed tax on many countries, including Zimbabwe, that's now face an 18% tax. But the Zimbabwean president said, we will not tax American goods. What is he trying to achieve? Zimbabwe President Emerson Mnangagwa, sorry, I murdered his name right there, but it's okay, my brother, understand me, has announced he will suspend tariffs on goods imported from the United States in an attempt to build a positive relationship with the President Donald Trump administration. So, well, you don't like me, okay, but I'm going to try open my house for you and give you food for free. Maybe you can like me. How do you feel about that? So let me remind you here, Zimbabwe is under sanctions for a long time. Since 2001, Zimbabwe is under sanction. What sanctions? Robert Mugabe, this man right here, one of the most lectured presidents ever. He had like 5 master's degrees and some doctorate. He was a very smart guy, wanted the land for his people, but later on went south like many other presidents. Robert Mugabe initially wanted to take lands back from white people. There were many white people living in Zimbabwe, owning lands and being farmers. Zimbabweans, on the other hand, had absolutely nothing. Mugabe wanted the land reform, where Zimbabweans will own land as well and work as farmers.
They occupied the land illegally. They seized the land from our people.
Look.
And therefore, the process of reform, land reform, involved their having to hand over the land. We agreed upon this with the British, by the way.
Some 80% of that land was acquired after you took office, some of the farmland, and with the various certificates that mean government approval. Why are these people being hounded out of the country? Why are they being
they are not being
hounded off their land then?
No, they're not being hounded out of the country.
You've just
at all.
done reports about
Those who are in industry, in manufacturing, in mining are not being...
The farmers I'm talking about. Why is that wonderful farmland, and why are they being...
What are you talking about? We are getting land from them, and that's all. They are not being hounded out of the country. Not at all.
They're being hounded off their land?
Not of their land.
It's not theirs.
Our land.
Unfortunately, even though the idea was good, trying to empower fellow black people, the execution wasn't good at all. At the end of the day, many white people left. America, the United Kingdom, and Europe sanctioned Zimbabwe for chasing white people from Zimbabwe. Many of the whites went to South Africa, some went to Zambia, and Zimbabwe went into the most difficult time ever. And it has been like this for the longest time. Now, many African countries profit from AGOA, which is a service that allows many African nations to export to the market in the United States of America, tax-free. Zimbabwe does not profit from that, and many financial institutions are blocked from Zimbabwe. So the question is this: is this a good move from the Zimbabwean president? Is he trying to do good for his people by trying to caress Trump the right way? Or is he being a coward? Because if somebody chases you from their house, you chase them back, right? If somebody say you own a shithole country, you tell him his country shithole too. Or that's not the way politics work. What do you think about this? South Africa is going through the most with 30% tax. Lesotho is going through the most with 50% tax. Shouldn't African countries come together and find solutions? Isn't this a moment where African nations should understand that maybe we shouldn't rely on the United States of America as a big market? We should start relying on each other as people, because the continent got billions and billions of customers. Africans are the biggest buyers of everything from everywhere else in the world. They will buy it. Why can't Africans come together? Why can't you export to Burkina Faso or Gambia or Zambia? Why can't you exchange with one another? Because the bottom line is this: one move by Donald Trump, one human being, has changed the world. Hausa becomes the national language in Niger. Is this a good move? Is this maybe them being too zealous by rejecting French? What's going to happen with the kids in school? Are they going to change all documents from French to Hausa? And how long will that take? Will this be difficult for management and operation in the country? Or is this necessary for sovereignty, especially because the two countries are not seeing eye to eye? United States of America says it's going to cancel all visas on South Sudanese passport holders because South Sudan refused to accept one of the expelled guys. Sudan reacted by saying the guy is not Sudanese. He is Congolese. He should go back to Kinshasa. Zimbabwe opens its door to US goods, free of charge, no tax. You can bring anything you want in Zimbabwe. You can sell everything, whatever you want, free of charge. Just be nice to us. Is this smart or cowardly? God bless.